Good morning, CUT. I have to be honest with you, I am so full right now. When you are Christ Universal Temple, and when God has done as much through this ministry as God has done, sometimes you just can't get it all in a minute, in an hour and 30 minutes. God has been so good to us. 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 Oh, God has been so good to us. God has been good to us. Thank you, God, for being so good to us. God has been so good to us. Thank you, God, for being so good to us. We could not have deserved it, but you were still good to us. We haven't always been faithful, but you've always been good to us. We haven't always said thank you, but God has always been good to us. I love my church. How about you? Oh, good Lord, good Lord, good Lord. I saw my brother and my friend getting ready to get out. I'm sure he's a busy man. He needs to get to the business of running our city. But we have with us today my brother and my friend, Alderman David Moore. God bless you, man. Thank you for being with us today. We love you, man. We love you. I know you. Go ahead. If you stick your finger up, you can go ahead and go. Go ahead. We know you got to get out of here. God bless you, man. Love you. I'll talk with you. So today we open one of the signature series for this ministry. It's the Dream Series. And if you know anything about the Dream Series, you know that this series has been a blessing to so many people. And as I was preparing, the question occurred to me, well, why do dreams come to us? And it occurred to me that dreams come to us to shake us loose from the monotony and melancholy of a humdrum existence. It's important to remember that we generally don't go beyond our self-accepted images. And as long as you underestimate yourself, you won't be able to find the level of success that has been preordained for you. A dream gives us the ability to see beyond the limitations that we have perhaps imposed on ourselves. Dreams come to challenge and provoke us while sowing into our souls the seeds of divine discontent. Dreams come to inspire us to move back into the frame of mind of the possibility thinker. Dreams helped us to shift our attention away from the effect and back to the creative cause. I believe it was Edgar Allan Poe who said, "Those who dream by day are cognizant of many things that escape those who only dream by night." And so on this morning, before I get started, I wanted you to hear from some of our daydreamers. They have successfully heard and applied the information that we will be hearing and studying for the next few weeks. So I'm extremely happy to present to you our family members. One of these days I'm gonna tell you what they mean to me, but I'm thrilled to present to you Mr. and Mrs. Don and Rose Jackson.
Derrick said that he's full today, and I'm full today. I walked into this church almost 40 years ago, having not gone to church for 7 years, but feeling an urge in my heart to reconnect with spirit, but I couldn't abide anymore the hellfire and damnation that I had been taught and had grown up with. And so I walked into this church looking for God And in our blessing for CUT, we said, may we who come here not only find out about God, but find God. And I was looking for a God who loved me. And I walked in here, and in my mind, it was Helen Carey who greeted me at 8601 South State and said, God loves you. And I knew that I had found a home. I had found what I had been looking for at CUT. So I came alone for a few Sundays and kept asking Don to come, asking him to come. And he wouldn't come at first. And then he and Reverend Coleman got an award together at an fair, and I was able to then, after she got up and made her very short acceptance speech and said, thoughts are things, and you are the thinker who thinks the thoughts and make the things. And then he came, and we've been here ever since then. And so the Dream series had a profound effect on us. And Don is going to tell you about what came out of the Dream series for us.
Derrick says we have just a few minutes, so this is a full program, and the choir, you blew me away. God, I don't know what to say. So I'm going to abide by that and just say, many people ask us about where did our Stellar Awards originate from. And I know people don't give credit where credit is due, but it started right here with this Dream series. And without it, it never would have happened. It actually started with Reverend Coleman and Bob Mays and Helen Carey when they invited me to the GMWA workshop downtown, and I'm in the third balcony, they're on the first floor. Didn't know why I was there, but when the music started, because I didn't originate in gospel music, it was the Catholic Church, but when it started, it just blew me away. And the first two principles on this bulletin, desire and decision, when I heard that, I got the desire and made the decision to step out. But it was coming here and going through these principles, this Dream series, that really inspired us to move forward. And we just celebrated this year our 30th anniversary of the Stellar Gospel Music Awards. But I just want to say I am so glad this series is starting now because we have a bigger dream. The Stellar Awards is one program. Our dream going forward now is the Stellar TV network, a 24-hour, 7 network. And we are entrenched with that. It's a big one. There's BET, there's TV One. Now there's going to be STV or Stellar TV. So I am so glad, Derrick, that this is starting up again. We're going to be up in here because this is what it's all about, and we want to give credit. We always do, wherever we are. When they ask, how did this concept come about, we give credit to Christ Universal Temple and Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman. Now, I'm going to get off of here. There is a quick 30-second piece. That's all I'm going to play for you to give you a little teaser about what we're working on right now, if they can play it. If they can't, we will take our seats because I want to get these principles here. So if you can play it, and then just for 30 seconds, we'll show you what we're working on right now. Okay.
Welcome to the good life.
Welcome to the source for life-affirming network television, connecting the African-American community on the daily to what's trending in music, lifestyle, and information. With innovative, family-friendly content guaranteed to lift the spirit and stir the soul. Stellar Award Entertainment Television. It's all good.
Thank you.
So then we understand that dreams can come true if you know what to do. Is that right? So then what do Joseph the dreamer, Walt Disney, who said all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them, Oprah Winfrey and Don and Rose Jackson and Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman, what do all of these people have in common? What they have in common is they are all dreamers. They're all dreamers. And there is no doubt in my mind that each and every one of you in this room is also a dreamer. What I want to do over the next few weeks is just help you to begin to own, accept, unpack, and get to work on manifesting the dream that God has placed in your soul. Is that all right? So then what is a dream? A dream is a work assignment that is offered to us by God. A dream is a work assignment that is offered to us by God. A dream is a work assignment that is offered to us by God. Now, obviously, the implications of that is that if you have a dream, it is not sufficient to spend all of your days and all of your times simply contemplating what it is that you desire to do. The essence of a dream ultimately comes to what will you do about what you have received. Yes? Turn me up a little bit. I need a little more. The dream is a work assignment. It's not a play assignment. The dream that is resonating in your soul is not a joke. It's not something to be taken lightly. What you have to realize is that the dream that God has placed in your soul has the ability to transform your life. Sometimes we're complaining about not having enough, and it's because we are not using what we already have. You can't say, God, please bless me, and when the dream emerges in your soul, you act like it's some passing fancy. It's your work assignment. It's part of why you showed up. As wonderful as you are not just here to be cute. You are here to get to work because the dream that you have is intended to not only bless you, but bless those who are connected to you. So your dream is a work assignment. It's a work assignment. Your dream emerges from a deep desire to be or to do that which you have been destined to be or to do. So it's important that you know that your dream is connected to your destiny. Your dream is connected to your destiny. And as some of us look at our experience, we might be looking at our age, say age. We might be looking at our age and making the foolish determination that based upon some calendar date on some arbitrary calendar that this is closer to the end. But I got news for you. God is ready to move you to another level if you will just accept the dream that he placed in your soul. God don't care nothing about how young or old you are. That's something you created so you can stay where you are. Can I talk to you today? So the dream is intended to help you shift out of where you are and to help you move into where it is God intends for you to be. The fulfillment of your dreams and the acquirement thereof is something that involves a very deep and significant transformation. As your dreams connect you to your destiny, it's important to remember that the destiny is the goal toward which your own thoughts are leading you. As we just quickly move to desire, let's take from the bulletin what it says for desire. Desire in the heart is always God tapping at the door of your consciousness with his infinite supply. So desire in the heart is God always, not God sometimes, but God always. Desire is God always tapping at the door. Now, if the music in your car is too loud, you might not hear God tapping at the door of your heart. If the thoughts about the argument you just got out of are still playing back in your mind, you might not hear God knocking at the door. If the worries and the tribulation is making so much noise that you can't hear the still small knock at the door, you might miss the dream when the dream comes. You do know that you can be so focused on the problem that you miss the answer when it shows up. The desire is God always present and always ready to give you. Desire means that which is of the Father. So God is always ready to answer the call for the dream that God has given you. It's important to recognize that desire is the dream in the embryonic stage. That means it's the dream in the developing stage. That means it's the dream in the emerging stage. This is why you have to be careful about who you share your dreams with. Everybody is not suitable. Everybody is not a safe landing place for you to share the good desires of your heart. Jesus said it this way: you don't put your pearls in front of people who don't understand the value of them. So when we're talking about the desire, it's important that you recognize that the desire is God tapping at your heart, helping you to try to see, or trying to help you see, that this is what is in store for you. Since it's in the embryonic stage, it's important to have some prenatal care. Yes? When you, can I keep it real for a minute? There are certain things that you're not supposed to do. Say supposed to do. There are certain things that you're not supposed to do when the embryo is at the embryonic stage. Moms, you know about this, right? There's certain things that you're not supposed to do. So if your dream is in the embryonic stage, stressing about whether or not it can come into manifestation is not healthy for your baby dream. Smoking is not healthy for your embryonic dream. Now watch this, 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 watch this. The smoke doesn't have to be a substance. The smoke can be whatever it is you hold on to that is not healthy, whatever it is you inhale, whatever it is you intake, whatever it is you drawing in, whatever it is you share your life with. Because now this is what they tell me. This is just what they tell me. I'm not sure. But when you smoke, it depends on what you know. It depends on what it is. You know, so. Tell them get back to it. Tell them get back to it. The point is not how you hold it, but how you inhale it. So there are things that you just ought not to inhale. There are opinions that you ought not to inhale. Right? Just because someone else says it isn't so doesn't mean that it can't be so. Right? If someone says stellar TV is impossible, that doesn't mean that those of us in this room who know that if we touch and agree it can be so, that doesn't mean because somebody else said that we have to accept what they say. We have the power and the ability to own the desire that God places in our souls. But we have to be wise enough not to commingle that which is unhealthy and inconsistent with our desires, with the desire, especially when it's in the embryonic stage. It's a delicate stage. It's a delicate place. You need safe space when you are in the early stages of your dream. If you're thinking about writing a score for a movie, and you know that people are hating on you, don't tell them about what you're getting ready to do. You just write it, and when the movie comes out, let them see it in the credits. Your desire must be impressed upon your subconscious mind before it can be accomplished. Your desires must be impressed upon your subconscious mind before it can be accomplished. What does this mean? This means that not only must you have the desire, not only must you accept the desire, but you must begin to work with the dream in a way that you live with it, so much so that it becomes a part of you and the way you feel even before it shows up. You have to accept that just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it is not so. Sometimes it's said this way: you have to know how to fake it till you make it. You have to know how to walk in your dream and walk in your destiny before you ever get to the destination. This is why when you show up, I remember Sylvia and I, we were in Florida. And when we got off the plane and got on a shuttle. Thank you. I should have known that. We got on a shuttle, and there were two or three gentlemen, and the gentleman, he looked at us and he said, who are you? And I didn't really understand what he was trying to get at. There's something about you, right? He doesn't know what he sees, and if I'm careful, I might not know what he sees either, but there is something in my destiny that tells the whole world who I am and whose I am. And what I'm saying to you, what I want to encourage you to do is start walking into your dream so that people who can help you with your dream see you when you walk in and know that's somebody I need to link up with. Your dreams don't have to yet be made manifest in order to be true. So you have to get it down in your subconscious nature. You have to feel it. Because as Reverend Ike said, it's the feeling that gets the blessing. For many of us, the place where we get tripped up at is we don't feel it. We spend much time in class thinking it, but we don't feel it. But I got news for you. It's the woman that the baby comes through. It's the subconscious nature. Yes? The seed and the embryo are in the subconscious nature. And if you don't feel it, you can't produce it. It's just that simple. You can tell yourself and affirm all you want. If you don't feel it, you can't produce it. Watch this. The only thing that can come out of you is that which is within you. And if you don't feel like you deserve it, I got news for you. You'll never have it. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So our desire is always God tapping at the door of the heart with his infinite supply. And you have to accept the dream, and the dream will align with the desire. Now, after the dream aligns with the desire, you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision. Raymond Charles Barker said, man does not live by bread alone. He lives by making decisions. We find in the Genesis story that the creative process does not start until Elohim God makes a decision. At some point, God has to say to the darkness, let there be. That's a decision. That is the creative capacity saying to infinite potential, here is what I want. Rather than waiting for life to say to you, this is what you get. Given my druthers between determining for myself what it is I will create out of the power that is within me, or waiting for some binary force to say to me, this is what you can have, because a dual consciousness might give me what I want or it might not. But if I own my God potential, if I own my creative process, if I recognize that it is my responsibility to say to the universe and to say to the creative force and to say to God, yes, I agree, I decide that your good for me is what I should have, then I shall have it. But you've got to decide. You've got to decide, and nobody can make the decision for you. Nobody can choose for you. Nobody can choose for you. When Ronald Reagan was a kid, his aunt took him to a cobbler to have some shoes made. And the cobbler said to the soon-to-be president, do you want a round toe or a square toe? The president, or the young man at the time, was not sure about whether or not he wanted a round toe or a square toe. And so the gentleman said, well, just come back in a few days and we'll decide. The young man ran into the cobbler out on the street, and the cobbler said to him, do you want a round toe or a square toe? The young man couldn't decide, and the cobbler said, well, here's what we'll do. Just come by the store in a couple days and I'll have your shoes ready for you. When the young man, Ronald Reagan, got there to pick up the shoes, one toe was round and one toe was square. And the lesson is, the takeaway for us is, if you don't make the decision for yourself, somebody will make it for you. There is always somebody waiting to ascribe their decision to your life. And it doesn't matter whether or not their life is working. If you don't make the decision for yourself, somebody will make the decision for you. And here is the thing about decision. A decision says to the subconscious nature, that a good idea that we ought to produce has come forth. So even if it's not your decision, but you accept it. So those who say, you're going to be just like, or the ones who said, you'll never amount to, or for the ones who said, I'm leaving you for, or to the ones who said, we're running low on this so we can't use you anymore. What I'm saying to you is that you have to decide that just because it happened to you, it doesn't have to change what happens through you. But you have to decide. A decision must be made. When we decide, according to our bulletin, it says that the decision, let's take it together, is a conclusion or resolution reached after consideration. When you decide to accept the dream and to receive the desire, you are also accepting the work order from God. When you accept the dream and receive the desire, you are accepting the work order from God. You are essentially saying to the universe, I'm all in. A decision then means that you now have to choose a course of action. Now, if you're anything like me, every now and again I get paralysis by analysis, right? I've got to look at it from this way. It's got to make sense to me. Right? It's got to make sense to me. I don't know about you. It's got to make sense to me. When I look at it from this way, I got to see if it makes sense. And if it don't make sense that way, I turn it the other way. And then I look at it from that way and I see if it makes sense. And if I can't make sense of it that way, I look at it from over the top and I try to see if it makes sense. And if I can't get it to make sense that way, I pick it up and I look at it from the bottom and I'm trying to figure out if it makes sense. But here is what I have come to understand, that while I am trying to figure it out, God has already worked it out. while I'm trying to make sense of it, there is something that I need to be moving on. And if I'm trying to study something that might not make sense, I can be paralyzed and missed when it's time to go. There is, yes, a time to deliberate, but then there's a time to just get to work. So, a decision means that we have to choose a course of action. At some point, we have to say, this is what we're going to do. Your decision also requires firmness, steadfastness, and determination. In 363, and there are a number of stories like this that have been chronicled, but in 363, Julian the Apostate, who was the emperor at Rome at the time, when they were at war and they crossed the Tigris, once they got to the shores, he ordered all of the battens and barges and all of the boats be set aflame. As soon as they got off the boats to enter into the war, the emperor had all of the ships burned. Now, I don't know about you, but if I were heading into a war and I was moving toward where the fight was, and I looked back and I saw all of the ships were burning, it would say to me, either we got to win or we got to die, because there are no ships to retreat on. And what I want you to know today is that there is no way to say no to the dream that God has placed in your soul. When you look back over your past, all of that is behind you, and if it was still ready to serve you, it wouldn't be burned down by now. But since it's not ready for you to float on, you might as well get busy dreaming on. It takes hard work and determination and tenacity to make your dream come true. Dream building and manifestation is not for the faint of heart. If you think it's going to be easy, you got another thing coming. Ask anybody who has built substantial wealth. They had to put their heart and their energy and their effort into it. If you ask Don and Rose Jackson, was it easy to build what you built? They'll probably tell you no. There was some sleepless nights. There was some worrying days, but they kept to it, and next thing you know, they got a bigger dream unfolded. I can hear Reverend Coleman saying, it ain't always easy, but when you squeeze a lemon, you're gonna get some lemonade. And if you squeeze a rose, all you're gonna get is the fresh aroma. We have been through some hard days. We have seen some long nights. But our lives have been transformed in ways that we could not have imagined. Everybody that you know who is connected to this place is better once they come inside these doors. You can't lose with the stuff we use. So if you intend to experience your dream, and if you're tired of playing small with yourself, it's time to, as the Jamaicans say, big up. It's time for us to big up our dreams. It's time to stand with the dream that God has placed in your soul. It's time to own the desire that God has given you. It's knocking on your heart and it's ready. And you've got to make a decision. And remember that even if you choose not to, you are choosing not to. It's time, CUT, to take our lives to the next level. Let's dream together. God bless you.